Good morning. I'm drinking my drink and it's delicious. It's like 30 degrees out. It's freezing and I love it. I'm going to do a song first. And this morning's going to be a little different. Allergies. This world is not my home, I'm just passing through. If heaven's not my home, then Lord, what will I do? The angels beckon me from heaven's open doors, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Lord, you know I have no one like you. I don't know the other words, what will I do? The angels beckon me from heaven's open doors, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Good morning. So, this morning's Gratitude Chronicles is a little different. Derek and I, since Soraya passed away last year, July 21st of 2021, for those that remember, our precious Australian Shepherd, and our Husky went through a terrible depression. For a couple of months, it was pretty bad. And so we've been looking and wanting to get another Australian Shepherd for him. We've been looking for quite a while. And yesterday, out of nowhere, we've been looking at rescues and people all over the country and adoptions and local farms. We have a lot of real agricultural areas and stuff. And so let me send a... It says, call me, enter a passcode. Just a minute. Text. And so, about yesterday, out of nowhere, about 30 minutes from us is a local farm and a family that has been doing like farm Aussies for about 15 years. And so they had a 10-week-old puppy named Sadie, who we have not named her yet. We don't know what name. We're still deciding. And so we asked if we could come see her. And so we went and saw her yesterday and we brought her home. She's 10 weeks old. I will be posting, a million pictures and videos. She is a little fluff ball. If you remember Anastasia, and if you don't, in my photos, there's an album labeled Anastasia. She's a like Anastasia, so she looks like her a little bit, and she's super fluffy and like totally confident. She's a little like I don't know how to explain it. She's so sweet and smart, like a 4-year-old already. Wyatt adores her. I mean, he was super excited, and then he wanted to lay by her when we were holding her, and he not, whatever, they really sweet. And so by last night, something sort of registered, like, this is my sister. This is, it's not like the cats running around when he plays with them. This is something like Soraya. This is, and so when she was in her kennel, because we were trying to do the kennel training and out and do all the things, he would lay down right in front of her kennel. And then early this morning, we were outside and it's frost all over the ground. The sun wasn't even up yet and it's freezing. And she was just playing with him and like running around. And he was so gentle with her. He was like playing and going back and doing zoomies. So he's really excited and it makes me really happy. So we have a new puppy. I don't know her name. We will let you know when we decide. If you have any name suggestions, let us know. So anyway, my gratitude this morning is that the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and he uplifts those who are crushed in spirit. That's in Psalms, I believe. Maybe it's Proverbs. Here, let's find out. Let's find out what verse that is. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted. What verse is that? Psalms. Yeah, okay. It's Psalms 34:18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. It's a good one. Anyway, there's been a lot of grief over the last couple of weeks, and then my poor parents and their birdie, and there's just been a lot. And so this was a bright spot, just kind of out of nowhere, to come up yesterday. And we're super excited, and Wyatt's excited, and she's sweet and smart and confident. And she's got that Australian Shepherd stance, you know, like where they stand with their legs, front and back legs, all like, she's so cute. I'll post pictures and stuff. So anyways, that's my gratitude this morning. We have new baby hours, you know, so Derek's up till like 2, and then I get up at like 5:45, 6 o'clock. But this morning I had a headache, real bad headache, so I got up at like 4. But so she got up at 4:15. I took her out, and you know, so we're doing the baby hours kind of thing. But I'm really so happy that Wyatt can have a playmate. You know, he'll be 6 in December, and so it's good. Anyways, the Lord cares about these things. He cares about these things in your life when you're brokenhearted and when you go through grief. I watched a thing, I think it was a TikTok, and I watched this TikTok the other day, and it was a guy who was talking about his dog who had passed away, his fur baby, and he, a golden retriever, and he couldn't function, and I get that. And he was like, he went to some sort of dog show, some sort of something, and they had a bunch of golden retrievers there, and he just broke down, and he was in the bathroom crying, and he's like, my wife was out there with the kids. He's like, I could not function. And this lady who had this golden retriever had noticed him, and she went up to him, and she was talking to him, and he told her, you know, that they had lost their golden retriever and all the things, you know. And she said to him something that really stuck with him. And when he said it, I was just like, I'd never heard this before, really, but it really made a lot of sense. And she said, listen, grief has to go somewhere. Grief is going to go somewhere. And it can go to the depths of despair. And it can also, all of that energy and grief can also be invested in a new life. Because, you know, when your baby dies, you feel like when Anastasia passed away, October 25th, 2011. I'm a numbers person. It was another year and a half before we got Soraya. We moved from Colorado back to California. We bought a home. We were renovating, you know, the whole thing. But it was a year and a half before we got another dog, and that's okay. That happens. But she said, you know, grief has to go somewhere. Has to go somewhere. And you can take all of that pain and grief and invest it into a new life, and that doesn't take away from the love and the grief that you have for your baby that you lost, your fur baby. It doesn't take away from that. You can hold that and also invest your pain and grief into the love of a new life, and you can do both. Hey Tamara, good morning, love. I love you so much. I hope you had a good weekend. And so I really thought that was powerful, because it's like, grief has to go somewhere. I guess I'd never heard that before, like grief has to go somewhere. I've had lots of things to grieve about. I am still grieving a little about not being able to carry children in this body and all of the things, you know, God knew. You know, I've had pain, horrific pain, since junior high. I don't believe my body ever was, God knew it was never going to carry kids, you know. And then when I had cancer, you know, surgery, anesthesia, but radiation, you know, you don't know what that does to your body, I guess, you know. And then multiple surgeries for all of my endometriosis and stuff and tumors. My body wasn't going to carry kids. Now, God knows that, right? I always wanted to be pregnant. Like, I mean, it's the one time you can wear super tight clothes on your chunky belly and be like adorable. Here's the thing, I still do that. It's just not as adorable as if there was like a life in there, but I don't care. But God knew. I love you so much. Weekend was okay. I did. We got a new puppy, Tamra. I'll post pictures and all the things. So anyways, God knew, right? So there's things I'm still grieving about and things I have had in the past, relationships or abuse or pain or whatever it is, right? And when I heard that on that TikTok, grief has to go somewhere. You can choose to invest that grief into a new life or into whatever, or you can hold on to the grief and let it drown you. And I was just, and that doesn't take away from your process when you grieve. It doesn't take away from the love you have from whatever. It doesn't take away from any of that stuff. But grief has to go somewhere. And I just was like, that was just really like poignant for me. I'd never heard that said before. So anyway, so we're investing it into a new life. And we are super excited. We don't have a name. I want to name her something from the Bible, like Esther or Essie, you know. And Derek was like, no. I love that view about grief. I had lost my long tongue. I went for fish food. Gabe wanted to look at the dogs at PetSmart. Wilson tilted his head like TJ used to. Oh, and started crying. So yeah, we left with fish food and a new dog, right? But see, I love that view too about grief. I had never heard that before. And, you know, I know sometimes people kind of judge you if you've gone through grief or pain of the loss of a pet or whatever, and you get a new pet right away or whatever. I've never judged people. I've never whatever. But I really loved the view that grief has to go somewhere. So why not invest that grief into a new life? You can still hold on to the memories. You can still hold on to the love of what you've lost. But you can take that grief and you can invest it somewhere that's going to breathe life into you and to other people. Or you can let the grief drown you. And I just really loved that. So, listen. Okay, I'm going to tell you something before I let you go. I'm putting this away because you know why? Because Faith, my chunky baby, she believes everything is hers. She just does. She's had breakfast. She's had her food. And yet, here she is. Faith, honey, listen, here's the thing. Baby, you've had breakfast and all the things. Can you see her? Do you want to come say hi to the people? Okay. Oh. Okay, thank you so much. This is my bottle, baby. Look at her sweet little face. Can you see it? Anyways, so we got a new baby. I love you guys. And like a crazy person, I pray for you. Please pray for me. Be good to one another. And don't forget that you are one of the one another's. She is seriously... Don't forget to be good to yourself. Listen, Faith is like, for those that don't know, she was our bottle baby. She was brought into the shelter hospital that Derek worked at in a shoebox. She was just a few hours old. She still had the umbilical cord on. And so Derek had the needle. He was ready to put her to sleep. And he couldn't do it. Can you be done now? Oh, thank you. So... he couldn't do it. So he called me and he was like, here's the thing, I'm going to bring Kat home. Thank you, honey. I love you. And I was like, okay. So he brought her home and we bottle fed her and she slept in my tank top and everything. And now, I mean, she's my baby. I hold her. I can pick her up. I can do all the things. Other people cannot. I mean, you know, unless you have food, she might be like, okay. But she's my baby, and she's a big girl. Oh my God, I love her. All right, I gotta go. I've got stuff to do. And clearly Faith is all up behind my business. Could you please go lay down? You've got everything you need. Look, there you go. Anyways. So So I'll post pictures and all the things. So anyway, I just thought I'd give you that little nugget of wisdom. It's okay to grieve. You're allowed. And something to chew on is that while you're grieving, you are not required to stay in the pit because you're grieving and people expect to see, why aren't you still sad? You can grieve however you need to. And also you can invest all of that grief into a new life or something that breathes life into you or someone else, because grief must go somewhere. And it can go inside and kill you, or you can invest it in a life. Grief helps us grow. Absolutely it does. Totally. But I just loved that. Grief must go somewhere. I just was like, man, that's good stuff. All right. I gotta go. I love you. And I mean it, Peanut. Mwah.